So let's get into why it's a horrible idea to use flooring for a cutting board. It's great wood, worked great. You can see the cutting board at the end turned out fantastic. But the problem is all of the work it took to get there. It takes so much work to reclaim even brand new flooring into boards that can be glued up together to make a cutting board. So sit back, watch the video, and see if it's something that's right for you. I'm still going to walk you through the steps because I did it. If you're short on cash and heavy on time, it's a great idea. Other than that, I would say go buy some rough cut lumber, mill it down, make a cutting board, and you're going to be so much better off, so much faster. So let's get into this video. All right, so we've got our lumber. Making sure we've got long enough lumber, doing a rough appraisal on how much I think I'm going to need. Let's get into planing this. So lots and lots and lots of planing. As you're going to see here, I'm not even showing you going through the whole thing, and I'm speeding it up so much faster. But we're planing it. Ran each board through 3 times just to get rid of that glue groove they put on the bottom of it. So once I get that glue groove gone, then I can push forward and start on the next step, which is going to be getting rid of the tongue and groove for the flooring. So got that side nice and smooth, looks good. Moving on. Nope, still gonna go one more. So I'm gonna run this through. Made them a little bit too thin, so I'm gonna actually reverse thickness or reverse plane them. So I'm thicknessing the wood. That's not a thing. I'm not doing it. It was just a really long and boring stretch, and so I figured I'd run it backwards to keep it a little bit entertaining. It would be nice if we could add a little bit of wood back, but we can't, so what do? Well, we make sawdust. And planers make a lot of sawdust. There it goes. Looks good. Ready to move on. Oh wait, got to clean it all up. Now I'm going to cut off the tongue off of all these, get them cleaned up to where I can glue them up. Originally I was thinking of leaving the groove, but by the time I got done cutting the tongues off, I realized that the side that I hadn't planed, the natural surface, wasn't as smooth as I liked it. It was still kind of rough. So let's head back over to the planer and run these through one more time. Just taking off a very thin cut this time, just to get that surface ready for glue up. All right, got it all planed. Like I said, this took over 2 hours. And just to prep this wood and glue it up. There was some CNC going on in there, so but that didn't take too much time. All right, now I'm just gonna cut off the groove. Make sure you're being safe. My wife gets on my case because I probably came a little bit too close to the saw that time. Be safe, stay away from the saw, but now I've got dimensioned lumber. Now I need to go through and figure out what is usable of the lumber. So I'm going to go through and mark places that are going to probably cause problems as I'm doing the glue up. And so this did eliminate a couple of the boards. Some of the splits went kind of deep, but most of them I was able to cut off. And then there was a couple of spots right in the center that made it really difficult, and I ended up actually losing a couple of boards completely that I was planning on using. So let's get the crosscut out, get the sawdust off. I do not have a block here at the back, so I've got my check marks. I'm not going that deep, but make sure to keep my hands away from that center line because that is a bad place to have your fingers as you're pushing that through. Plan on putting a block on the back. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So first thing we're looking at is cut depth. And you know what I like to do on my crosscut sled is I will take and say, okay, that is how thick I'm cutting right here.
Then I can bring the blade over and raise the blade up a tooth above that. So that gives me my height right there. So I'll run it through this side, knock off an end, slide it over, knock off the other end.
All right, so now it's just knocking the ends off. I've got a 3/4 inch piece of particle board clamped up against the fence so I can get that measurement right. I cut off one end, slide it over, put it up against that fence, and it's not up against the fence when I cut the other end off, but I'm at the right length, so I don't have to worry about the kickback with that. Again, keeping my hands out of that area where the saw comes through and staying safe. I do need to get a board put on the back of that. But I think I'm going to be rebuilding my crosscut sled really soon anyway. I'm noticing some stuff I want to fix on it. So we've got the boards all cut to length. Now we can just check them and see how we're doing as far as...
I noticed another deficiency.
I did notice a couple of things that just weren't going to cut the mustard. So
what's that piece of
that one's gone.
So what I needed was...
let's get them all together and
19 inches.
do a memeasurement at this point.
Pretty long. I didn't...
Let's measure and see how much we need. Didn't know how thick they would be, so it was hard to judge.
Alright, but what I needed was 19 inches. So let's see if that's enough to glue up and get 19, or if I got a 13 and a half. Alrighty then, so looks like I'm about halfway there. A little bit over halfway, so 13 and a half. Let's say I need 19 and a half, so I need 6 more inches. So I need to add that on, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more boards to get that 6 inches.
At this point, I know how much I need to make. Double check, they're all sitting at about 5/8 right now. So I'm gonna go back and off camera cut up the pieces I need, get them planed up, jointed up. Now we've got everything ready. Let's make sure we've got enough. Got an extra 1/4 inch to spare, so this will do.
So what do I need to find? I need to find some clamps. I don't have 20-inch clamps. Well, they say you've never got enough clamps, and I don't have enough clamps. I do have, I wonder where my pipe clamps are. Alright, I do have a clamp. I got a 5-foot. I got a really big clamp. I wonder my pipe clamps. Alright, I'm going to go find my pipe clamps. I'll be back in a few.
Alright, I do have a couple of 10-foot pipe clamps that I had forgotten about. Got them found, got everything laid out, and time for some glue. So I've got the GlueBot. I really enjoy this, but as I'm using the GlueBot here, I think my glue's getting a little bit dry because I'm just having a real hard time getting it to come out consistently. It's just takes a lot of squeeze, but I did manage to get it there. And then I'm just using a plastic card for spreader. Get it all nice and evenly spread, add a little bit more of the thin spots. Make sure you get plenty of glue. I did not get as much glue as I wanted on this, and you can see how much glue is on there. Next time I do a cutting board, I'm going to be putting probably about 10%, 20% more glue on there. We get this clamped down with those pipe clamps. Put a little bit of pressure on it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tap down on it, just make sure they're all seated really well. Then once I've got them tightened up a little bit, I'm going to bring in my 5-foot Dewalt bar clamp and clamp that down, get some pressure on the center. Really should have a couple more clamps on here. It did work out, but I would have liked to have had a little bit more security on there. So at this point, it's mostly dry. Not taking it out yet. But I'm just I took a block of the maple and scraped it. Now it is completely dry, so I'm going to finish the scraping, flip it over, use that maple. Metal scraper would work, but I had the maple, so I decided to use that. Throw it on the CNC. This is about 3,000 times speed. Surface both sides. Stick around on my channel, check out more videos to come. I'm going to show the rest of this build, but for now I'm going to show you how this turned out with the flooring, because I made a maple cutting board and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and my friend that I made this for, he's really happy with how it turned out too. So are you ready to build a cutting board out of hardwood flooring, or did this scare you off? It was a laborious process. It took forever, but in the end, the product turned out pretty nice. So if you want to try it, mention that down in the comments. If this scared you off from it, drop that in the comments also. If you found some value in this video, please hit that like button. And if you're looking forward to seeing the rest of the build video where I do the comprehensive inlays that show up on the other side, let me know in the comments that you're looking forward to seeing those. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the final product. Finally, I have a completed cutting board. Beautiful hard maple cutting board.